Welcome to my Days of Our Lives official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Arianne Zucker reveals final airdate. See when Nicole exits DOOL. Days of Our Lives reveal that suckers will have to bid farewell to Nicole DiMera this summer, but you might be wondering when exactly her last occasion will state. Since numerous of us are dreading this tough farewell, it's stylish if we can all brace for it and be prepared. Of course, you've presumably heard by now about the action Zucker filed for unlawful termination, importunity, demarcation, retribution, and further. Zucker doesn't feel like Corday Productions was open to a real concession when it came time to renew her contract, so now she's off the show and facing a legal battle. Still, days flick several months in advance, so observers have been seeing Nicole air constantly, and that LL continue through the end of July. Arianne Zucker has a podcast called Everything from A to Z, so she participated some news about her exit in a recent occasion. Zucker talked about attending a New Jersey addict event, which allowed her to hang out with familiar faces as well as some new bones. It surely left Zucker feeling the love, especially considering the delicate circumstances girding her departure. I was really appreciative of the quantum of support that I've had since leaving Days of Our Lives. I'll just be kind about it right now, Zucker said. That brings us to Arianne Zucker's final airdate, since she offered updates on that during the podcast. Zucker's exit is coming up fairly soon, but she didn't close the door fully on the possibility of a day's comeback. And just so we all know, my last airdate is July. I suppose it's July 29th. And we'll see how effects go after that, Zucker added. With this action going on and all the bad blood, Zucker's return to Days obviously isn't passing anytime soon. That said, Zucker's we'll see how effects go approach suggests she doesn't completely rule out an implicit return nearly down the line. Anyhow, Nicole has some marvels ahead due to the stolen Jude Brady drama, so stick with us for prognostications on all the chaos. Sophia's bold move, Holly's friend turns into competition, Tate's teen triangle. Days of Our Lives spoilers reveal that suckers will see two new teenagers in Salem. Suckers will meet Aaron and Sophia during the week of April 22, 2024. In the daily exercise clip, Sophia can be seen asking Holly Jonas if she's over Tate Black. Aaron hasn't been seen yet, but has been mentioned on many occasions by Tate. So, let's talk about how Aaron and Sophia could impact Holly and Tate's love. Days of Our Lives Holly Jonas secret romance. DOOL spoilers reveal that Tate has been romantically interested in Holly ever since he met her after moving back to Salem as a teenager. Still, Holly was just using Tate. It wasn't until after Holly woke up from her coma that she realized how she felt about Tate. Lucky for Holly, Tate is way too forgiving, and now the two are intimately seeing each other. DOOL spoilers, Sophia's crush in a daily exercise clip for April 22 to 26, 2024, Tate is working smacking tables at Brady's Cantina. Holly and Sophia are sitting at one of the tables. Holly looks over dreamily at Tate. Still, Sophia is also looking at Tate. Sophia suddenly asks Holly if she's really over Tate. Sophia doesn't feel to be asking for Holly's benefit but her own. It seems Sophia has the hots for Tate. Days of Our Lives spoilers, Tate Black's teen triangle. Days of Our Lives spoilers reveal that the further people who know about secret loves, the more likely they're to get fractured. Holly isn't new to lying or colluding. So, Holly is presumably playing it as if she doesn't have any commerce with Tate these days. Still, suckers know that Holly and Tate are still intimately seeing each other. So, when Sophia brings up her interest in Tate, what will Holly say? Will Holly admit that she's intimately seeing Tate? Or will Holly play it cool and allow Sophia to make a move on Tate? DOOL Aaron's preface. As for Aaron, he hasn't been seen on screen yet. Still, Tate has mentioned him many times lately. It turns out that Aaron isn't just a reason for Tate. It turns out that Tate really does have a friend in Salem named Aaron. Now, will Aaron have an interest in Holly as Sophia has an interest in Tate? It seems commodity like this happened many decades ago with the old teen scene in Salem. Creepy Bobby's bold coyness with Jada. Stephanie's shocking response. Days of Our Lives. Everett Lynch was creeped out during his session. Everett rejected Marlena Evans' offer to suffer hypnotherapy again, believing that probing deeper into the history would only bring about negative consequences, since he was obviously creeped out. He forcefully believed that certain effects should remain buried and was reluctant to explore further, doubtful what might come forth from that cerebral grave. Still, it seems that Everett's perspective might soon change, and he might consider witnessing another round of hypnotherapy to see what might crop, maybe dealing with it formally and for all. This decision could lead to Bobby resurfacing indeed more prominently, although there's a possibility he's formally back in control, given the recent events that took place in his suite. When Everett inked Robert Stein on the divorce papers, a way to express his desire for a future with Stephanie Johnson, there was a strange look in his eyes. DOOL flipping the Bobby Stein switch? Maybe that moment was a vital bone. For Everett, where his true identity resurfaced, observers will flash back that Robert Stein is Everett's original identity, as that's his birth name. Jada Hunter went through a terrible fire in her marriage to Bobby, but there must have been some love between them since he was formally willing to marry her. According to the Everett will surprise both Jada and Stephanie with his unanticipated jest. Warmly chatting Jada, but slightly admitting Stephanie's presence. This peculiar jest will really raise red flags for both women, leaving Stephanie and Jada questioning what's passing, especially if Everett continues to act this way. Everett will feel to be in a sportful mood, ready to charm Jada, but giving Stephanie a good dread along the way. Days of Our Lives. Everett Lynch is and himself, is this Bobby Stein? At a certain moment, Stephanie might come to the consummation that Everett isn't truly Everett after all. It's possible that Stephanie will discover that she witnessed Bobby flirting with Jada, and that the original unsettling interpretation of himself is resurfacing. Still, there's a lot further to Bobby's story and how he developed this new persona as Everett. Our prognostications indicate that there will be astonishing exposures from Bobby's history that will ultimately explain everything. Bobby and Everett switch. Trips. Hong Kong surprise. Days of Our Lives reveals that Kristen DiMera spoke to Stefan DiMera at the DiMera Manse and wondered who differently would have a motive to take Li Xin out permanently. Stefan questioned how Kristen was going to prove Gabby Hernandez DiMera's innocence when the Bobbies and his private investigators couldn't, but she suggested she was a wolf who could smell indeed a drop of blood in the water. Coming on Wednesday's day's occasion, Ava Vitale apologized for having to stay another night since Roman Brady refused to let her room with Harris Michaels. Trip Johnson and Wendy Shin claimed it was fine, but Wendy sounded tense and came near to snapping at Ava. Although Wendy and Trip were supposed to meet Stephanie Johnson for lunch, Wendy said she didn't get important sleep and wasn't feeling up to it. Trip offered to stay home with Wendy, but she was adamant about him going without her and sounded like she wanted to be alone. Once Trip took off, Kristen visited Wendy and pitched the idea of a council education in Lee's name since it was the least DiMera Enterprises could do. Wendy sounded suspicious as Kristen stuck around to bandy the details, especially once it turned into a grilling session about Lee's attack. After Wendy made it clear that she allowed Gabby was shamefaced, Kristen headed out and left Wendy looking indeed more stressed out. In Everett Lynch aka Robert Bobby Stein's suite at the Salem Inn, Bobby sounded trim as he ditched the inked divorce papers in the trash can hard outside the cantina. On Wednesday's day's occasion, Stephanie participated good news with Jada Hunter, Elia Cantu, who was pleased to learn Everett eventually inked the divorce papers as Robert Stein. When Bobby came strutting over, he sounded interested in catching up with Jada and told her she had a good memory when she flashed back his coffee order. Bobby only offered Stephanie a quick "hey," so she was weirded out over the exchange. Jada wanted the inked divorce papers, but Bobby said he didn't have them with him and acted like they'd take care of that soon. After Bobby headed outside and sat down at a table,